Alright, so today I want to sit down with you and talk about something that basically took over every Genshin community space overnight. I'm talking Reddit, Discord, Twitter, everywhere. If you open your phone today, you probably saw exactly what I did. Players confused, shocked, yelling, celebrating, and doom posting all at the same time. And it all comes from one new leak that, if true, could completely change our expectations for version 6.3. Just so we're clear from the very beginning, none of this is confirmed. Everything here is commentary, community reactions, and speculation based on what players are publicly discussing. Nothing should be treated as fact. We're just talking about the conversations happening online. So, here's the plan for today's video. First, I'm going to explain what this leak actually says in simple words. The summary is short, but the implications are huge. After that, we'll go through how the community reacted because honestly, the comments have been absolute chaos and in many cases, pretty funny. And by the end, you'll see exactly why people are so divided and why this update could end up being one of the most surprising we've had in years. So let's go straight into the leak itself, because this is the part that caught everyone off guard. The biggest line in the entire thing is that the White Horse Adeptus, the character everyone has been curious about, is supposedly a Lunar DPS. Yes, Geo. Not a Nemo, not Dendro, not Hydro. Geo. Most players reacted exactly the same way. Wait, Geo? Really? Geo hasn't received much attention recently, so the idea of a brand new Geo DPS arriving this late in the game is surprising by itself. But what really sent people flying is the claim that she interacts with a new reaction called Lunar Crystallize. Nobody knows exactly what Lunar Crystallize does. The leak doesn't explain it, so players started theorizing immediately. Some think it's an upgraded Crystallize with timed buffs. Others think it might explode after a delay like Bloom Cores. And then there are the people saying it will just be Crystallize with extra sparkles and slanted italic damage numbers. With Genshin, honestly, anything is possible. But the important part is that the White Horse Adeptus is described as the main DPS of this new lunar system. When a character is positioned like that, it usually means they're the centerpiece of whatever mechanic the developers want to highlight, similar to how Fontaine characters were tied to source water, or how early Dendro units instantly defined Bloom and Hyperbloom teams. The second major part of the leak is Columbina, and this sent the community into a completely different emotional spiral. According to the info people are discussing, Columbina is described as a hydro catalyst who mainly supports lunar reaction teams, rather than being a pure DPS hypercarry. If you've been in the Genshin community for more than 5 minutes, you already know players had very different expectations. Many were convinced she would be a massive damage dealer because of her Fatui status and her mysterious, almost terrifying presence in the story. So, the idea of her being a support? Yeah, that caused drama. Half the community panicked. The other half sighed in relief. And a very small group said, actually, she has moon symbolism, so this makes sense. People were reaching deep for explanations. What made the reaction even louder was the fact that she might be another hydro catalyst. With how many hydro catalysts we've gotten recently, the meme, another hydro catalyst BTW, instantly came back from the dead. Next, we have the new male 4-star Geo Polearm user. Based on the summary, he seems to be a support unit for lunar teams. But here's the strange detail. He apparently enhances Lunar Crystallize, but cannot trigger it himself. That wording confused a lot of people, and the reactions were mixed. Some felt like we're returning to the era of 4-stars designed mainly to boost a specific 5-star. Think Kuju Sarah for Raiden or Feruzan for Wanderer. Reddit immediately crowned him the guaranteed free Lantern Right character for the year. If you're a newly UF 4-star male, congratulations, you're automatically Lantern Right coded. Then we get to the Varka line, and this is where the community completely lost it. According to the leak summary, Varka is listed under the Hex faction, not the Knights of Favonius. This shocked almost everyone because Varka has always been presented as the Grandmaster of the Knights, the highest authority in Mondstadt. So seeing him not tagged as Knights of Favonius confused and disappointed a lot of players. People have dreamed for years about a full Knights of Favonius Resonance team. Ola, Mika, Jean, Kia, Rosaria, Albedo, all benefiting from faction synergies. But if Varka is tied to Hex instead, that dream gets pushed even further away. Again, none of this is confirmed, but the reactions were intense. Before we move into the community meltdown, let's quickly recap the core mechanic. Lunar Crystallize. Players only know the name, but that alone was enough to trigger pages of theory crafting. Some think it's Crystallize with buffs. Some think it works like bloom detonations. Others compare it to Fontaine source water or Fiorina's fanfare stacks. Nobody knows, but everyone has an opinion. And speaking of opinions, let's get into the reactions. The community's initial response to the White Horse Adeptus being Geo was pure chaos. Some were excited because Geo has been neglected for so long. Others were confused because her design made people assume she'd be a Nemo or Hydro. And of course, the meme, Navia found dead in a ditch, started trending instantly. It happens every time a new Geo DPS is rumored. People panic over Navia for absolutely no reason. Then we have the Columbina discourse, which was basically a war. Some players wanted her to be a hypercarry, others insisted support makes more sense, and everyone argued nonstop. A few people pointed out her moon symbolism, while others just said, "I don't care, I want big numbers." The Geo polearm reactions were hilarious. People instantly claiming he's the lantern right freebie. Others complaining that he's tied to a reaction he can't even trigger. And of course, the random conspiracy theories about him being Xingqiu's long-lost cousin. Then there's Sandrone. Because the White Horse Adeptus is described as the Lunar DPS, people started panicking about Sandrone's role. Some players had spent months hoping she would be the main Lunar reaction DPS, and now they feel like that dream is gone. So you had comments like, "So, is Sandrone support now?" Nobody knows, but panic is guaranteed. And finally, the Varka meltdown. Players expected him to carry night buffs, night resonance, night passives, the whole package. Seeing him under Hex instead was the most disliked part of the entire leak. Some said it ignores his lore entirely. Others said Hex could be cool. But overall, confusion and disappointment were the dominant emotions. When you put all of this together, you get a community split between excitement, fear, confusion, and pure memes. Some are hyped because Geo is finally getting attention. Others feel exhausted trying to understand a new reaction system. Some trust Hoyoverse to make Lunar reactions fun. Others think they'll be locked behind expensive double 5-star teams. But at the end of the day, one thing is certain, players really care. Genshin theory crafting is wild like that. One line of information, and suddenly entire subreddits turn into full research labs. And honestly, that's part of the fun. Talking about possibilities, making predictions, and laughing at the memes is a core part of the Genshin experience. Anyway, that's everything for today. I wanted to break down what the leak says, explain how people are reacting, and give you a calm, easy place to process everything without drowning in chaotic comment threads. If you want more commentary videos like this, or updates whenever the community finds something new to talk about, feel free to subscribe. And if you have your own theories, drop them in the comments. I always love seeing what you think.